have a head for business and a bod for sin. Is there anything wrong with that?
Maybe you can hum the theme song. Won't hold it against you if you get parts wrong. While the memory's not too strong, there's a piece of you from a time long gone. So while these fuzzy warm feelings remain, question we ask is still the same. Is it a treasure or just plain lame? Is this still good?
Hello, and welcome back to Is This Still Good, a podcast about removing nostalgia goggles and digging up childhood treasures, and seeing if we sealed that time capsule properly or if it's been exposed to the elements. It's certainly a podcast where no one has a head cold. I'm Sage,
I'm Gavin.
and we'll
And I'm
introduce that other
Maggie.
person in a second.
Oh,
We got a quick business to go through. We're coming up on 100 episodes. We'd love some feedback. If you want input into what we should do after 100, if we should make some changes, whatever, write it in, stillgoodpod@gmail.com. Send us a DM at stillgoodpod on Instagram. Otherwise, we're going to assume everything's perfect and continue exactly as we are, and it'll be your fault for not speaking up. How's it going, Gavin?
Oh, it's going good. I don't have a head cold.
Oh, that's good. I don't either. But I am being blessed by a gentle pitter-patter of rain. I don't know if that's going to make it into the podcast, but if it does, I hope that sets a soothing tone for you, the listener, at home.
And if it doesn't, we'll cue you when to turn on your rain machines at home.
Maggie Whitaker is here.
I do have a head cold.
Oh.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Now we sound like dicks
I
for
was just
flexing
playing the
how
odds.
less of head colds we have.
Yeah, it does. Somebody's got to get it.
Is it raining up in San Francisco?
Today, no. Tomorrow, yes.
Okay, good. So tomorrow,
Yesterday, yes.
you can be calm and collected, and you could come back and we can all do a proper NPR Fireside podcast with our relaxing voices.
Oh, yeah.
Maggie,
Yeah.
what did you bring for us today?
I brought the beautiful, perfect film from my childhood, 1988's film Working Girl.
I can't wait to find out how you feel about this perfect film.
I did kind of bury the lead a little bit, didn't I?
I want to back up a second. Maggie also works with us in film. Somehow Gavin and Maggie have never crossed paths, which I think is insane. Because as I was explaining before the podcast, you're the closest equivalent I have to a work wife. You're a costume designer, wardrobe specialist. How do you identify on set?
A costume designer. Anytime somebody uses anything other than costume designer to identify me or uses weird terminology for my team, I pretty much know that they are probably going to try to underpay us.
Okay.
That's
What
fair.
if you're in a sort of professional altercation on set, what of your wardrobe equipment would you use as a weapon or as defense? Don't pretend you haven't thought about this.
I'm just trying to figure out if I want to get away without ending up in jail. And if I do end up in jail, if I want to try and make sure it's still a misdemeanor when I'm booked.
You can describe whatever variations.
You can do them
give
all.
a
You
few-
can put them in
yeah.
tiers.
I'm going to stick with misdemeanors because I'd
Okay.
like to keep on working and voting in all 50 states. So I'm going to say probably using my ring sizer or the leather rougher as a defense tool. Because the ring sizer is a blunt force trauma weapon and the leather
Oof.
rougher will do a decent amount of abrasive damage and it's pretty horrible, but it will not actually I probably can't accidentally murder anybody with either of those things.
But you would
Where
You don't
any
know. It's an
number-
accident.
Look, any and all of my scissors will kill somebody.
Yeah.
It would be very easy for any of the edged tools to be to be real death.
Can't wait to look at the transcript later and get the actual quote, because I believe you said a decent amount of abrasiveness, which I think would be a great name for a memoir.
That is good.
Yeah.
If you spend long enough in any aspect of this industry, I think that's where you end up, is a decent amount of abrasiveness.
More and more every year. Maggie, we've worked on out of 5, 6, 18 movies together at this point. Who could say? Who could say what
Yeah.
counts as a movie? Who could say what counts as working on a movie? Several of which have come out this year. Fairyland, I believe, just hit digital video on demand. Everyone should go see that. It's got the girl
Yes,
from The
they
Running
better.
Man in it.
Yeah.
It's got the guy from Batman versus Superman. I'm sure that's how everyone thinks about Scoot McNairy. But when I pitched you on coming on the podcast, I wanted something that you could view through the lens of a costume designer,
Yeah.
which I think this very much
Yeah.
fits. I'm sure for many reasons you view this movie differently than I do, having watched it growing up.
Yeah. I don't know how Gavin falls between our collective age ranges, but I was
He's like 2 months older
definitively
than me.
alive when this movie came out.
That would be the
Which,
difference. Neither of us were.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I did
believe
the
I would have
math.
been inside someone when this movie came out. Sometimes I say things just to get Gavin's head shaking.
Yeah.
I was inside my mom. Is what, just
Good
to clarify.
podcast audio. Yep. That
At
doesn't.
least you were gestating. You were in process.
hmm
So both of us saw this movie for the first time this week. That's
Oh,
correct, Gavin,
wow.
right? Just checking.
So you
Correct,
hadn't ever
yes.
seen this before I pitched this movie as like because I gave you choices.
You did, and I usually pick the one I haven't seen.
I'm so stoked that you chose this because I think people can really dismiss. We'll get
Working
into
Girl?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that's probably the explanation
We'll
for why I
dismiss the
haven't seen it until
fashions.
now.
Like
Just
they'll
Dismiss the fashions.
right.
There were a lot of things that, yeah, specifically fashion, and specifically you just gestured to your hair.
Yeah, because they
The
all this
hair in
is
this movie is insane.
all of you
'cause
not on
it's
video right now, you should check out her shoulder pads and giant 80s wig that she's rocking.
And I've also
oh
combed my hair all the way back, like Sonic the Hedgehog, to appear like Alec Baldwin in this movie.
And I'm currently doing a lot of cocaine in a limousine.
oh like Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. Of all the hey, I know that guy who popped up for a scene in this movie, Kevin Spacey definitely the most shocking. And
Yeah.
we'll get to all that. The first thing we do is talk about our personal connections to this movie. And Gavin and I just did that. So Maggie, where were you and who were you when this movie entered your life?
All right. So in '88, I did this math. I would have been 12 when this came out. Um, Pretty sure because I would have seen this not necessarily because the subject matter was like so exciting to me as a 12-year-old
Mergers
person,
and acquisitions weren't exactly where you were at when you were.
but because my mom loves both Sigourney Weaver and Harrison Ford with an undying passion, and I was an only child and a weirdo. We would go see movies together all the time. So I would have gone to see this with my mom in the theater. And it was a fantastic film. Even as like a weird, nerdy, precocious kid who likes good stories and good plot lines.
hmm
Like the way that this thing unspooled, and I'm sure there was plenty of times in this movie, considering when I watch it, when I've rewatched it, I'm like, huh, there's a lot of casual nudity in this film, that her purse would have come like this over my face a few
Yeah.
times.
Another thing I was not prepared for in
Yeah.
this movie.
It was the
Geographically,
80s.
where is this taking place? Where is
Oh,
this
Central
theater? Where'd you grow
Florida.
up? Central
I
Florida.
grew up in Central Florida, so I
That's
grew up in
right.
New Smyrna Beach in Florida. So we would have driven up to Daytona because there was no movie theater in my childhood town.
That's the town with the cars, right?
Yeah,
Okay. No one's
Daytona
gonna yes
is
and
where
that. All right.
yes, yes,
It took me a
Daytona
minute.
Beach where they have race week in the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the only
where
thing I would ever be able to tell you about that place.
How far a
God,
drive was it
there's
to the nearest movie theater?
And how fast
it's
did
a
you get to go?
well, okay, so funny fact about that is like so once a year there's like 3 different things that snarl up traffic in this sort of small region of my hometown area, which is Bike Week, Race Week, and Spring Break. That all sort of like snarl up everything from like for about a 60-mile radius from starting around like Ormond Beach all the way down through New Smyrna because
These aren't all
it's
at the
all sort
same
of
time, are they?
basically they
Oh,
are at different times, but they all have the same sort of traffic death congestion problem. Like, and they all have different vehicles, but they all do the same thing of like
well, the
little
bikes
small
can go
towns,
around
small 2-lane
everything.
roads. Huh?
The bikes can go around everything. They can zip through and lane split and
Yeah, but you've got like 50 million motorcyclists on like Harleys with sidecars having to lane split around old people in like Oldsmobiles with, like they're steering through their, steering wheels like this.
Now, are
So
these
the
just
Harleys are
like
all getting pasted by octogenarians. And most of the funnest parts of Bike Week are happening. A lot of it's happening in like the rural parts of the county. So like my hometown in New Smyrna has like this pub on the highway that is known for having a bike bash where they take a Japanese motorcycle and everybody pays in at the end of like the sort of the highlight of the week is that everybody gets a chance to take a hit and smash the motorcycle to bits. Way out in Samsula, there's a huge festival out at the Cabbage Patch where they have coleslaw wrestling and people like,
did you say
like
coleslaw wrestling? Okay, just
I
making sure.
also assumed I misheard her.
no.
What?
Anyways, so
It's better than
even
casserole wrestling, I guess.
anyway, so you have just buckets of traffic. And then with race
And
week, you get the
coleslaw.
exact same amount of traffic, except instead of motorcycles, it's all Winnebagos and the same little roads, but it's all Winnebagos.
I really
I'm
want all
getting the
these events
feeling.
to
Go ahead.
take place like in one of the golf cart communities in that
Oh.
region. So you got
Oh.
bikes zooming around golf carts and people being late to golf because of wet t-shirt contests.
Well, that's just all of Florida is golf cart
That's
country,
all
I
of
thought.
Florida. I mean, everywhere you go now, like when I go home, everybody's driving golf carts around in like beachside New Smyrna, like just driving them around downtown, like as if they're real cars, just
I mean, your
buggying
vehicle
about.
only has to be faster than an alligator, right?
I mean, at least the water is swift and brackish, so we don't have alligators on the beachside. It's not like it isn't already the shark bite capital of the world.
At
So
least the
Your
water is
vehicle
brackish.
only has to be faster than a shark, right?
right, yeah. It's just all ridiculous. It's all ridiculous when it all comes down to it. So anyways, we drive from my hometown to the nearest movie theater is about 25 miles. So we would get on the freeway and go up. So it'd be a proper outing. It would take about half an hour to get up there.
I like growing up. I was just talking with my sister who's got like a small child, and making movies an event is something that she's going to try and instill in him. I was talking
Yeah.
about like make sure the lights are dimmed anytime TV's on with a movie. Throw on
Yeah.
candles, why not?
Put that
Yeah.
baby's
And
phone away.
exactly. Having to make it an event and having to kind of earn it is beautiful. I think that's really cool. Having to go to a theater, making it a thing,
Yeah.
and having to wind in and out of Harleys and or Winnebagos is just that much more special.
I mean, now admittedly, during these 3 cardinal weeks of traffic hell,
You don't
nobody
go to the
leaves their
movies.
house. Locals
Yeah,
don't go anywhere. That's
that's
when,
fair.
it would be like you'd be renting movies from the local video store.
Yeah, what'd you do?
And
Did you stay inside and stream things?
streaming didn't exist, babe. Remember, it was the 80s, so we had just gotten VCRs and they went up like ka-chunk, and you
So
put the
cool.
tape in, and they went down physically, and you had to rewind them. Otherwise, you got charged a fee.
So what, you stayed inside and made TikToks?
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Now I
actually we'd
understand.
just go outside into the backyard. We'd be stay on the dirt roads, and we knew which snakes not to pick up, and we'd come home before dinner.
Did you ever have a pet snake?
I was never allowed to have a pet snake. I mean, I caught some garter snakes, but I have to return them back to the wild. I knew which snakes not to pick up, so I mean
Yeah.
that was one of the rules. Stay on the dirt
Bright
roads.
bright
You know which
yellow's
snakes not to
Sorry.
pick
good.
up.
Which snakes can you pick up?
Garter snakes.
Garter snakes, rat snakes, corn snakes, king snakes.
I was just allowed garter snakes.
Yeah, those are safe. But the coral snakes, hognoses, rattlesnakes, obviously, water moccasins, cottonmouths, you don't want to
What?
pick those up. Those are all venomous.
A lot of them will let you know too.
There's a
Like,
snake
Yeah.
called cottonmouth.
Uh-huh.
Cottonmouth.
Mouth.
Oh, okay.
God,
Yeah.
Sage, did you not have snakes in
You
Alaska?
guys will be shocked to learn that there's no snakes in Alaska.
Weird.
Wild.
It's like not even Earth.
We have a lot. I also used to think that Florida was like the like the most venomous snake place in the United States. Actually, California has 9 venomous snakes native to California.
Hell yeah, just another way that California is superior to Central Florida.
Absolutely. I'm glad that we beat Florida in venomous snakes.
Yeah. Now we just got to work on everything else.
Yeah. It's not hard. It's
So
not hard.
speaking of
Florida's a trash
snakes,
state. Yeah.
1980s business in New York.
Woo! Woo! I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk about that first scene where we're setting up the whole like layout of like the difference in classes and her in that like scrum pile, and you're learning just how smart she is, where she's picking stocks and she has to go into that bathroom and hand the toilet paper to her boss. And you see like she's brilliant and she's got her big hair and too much eyeliner and all the things because she's coming in from Staten Island. But even then, like color-wise, palette-wise, it's more neutral. Like she's already trying. She doesn't quite have all the steps matched. Like it's not all locked in, but
No,
she's trying.
she's in her business attire for sure.
She is working so hard, but she's also living in these two places at once of being like the Staten Island girl doing night school and still like not quite being able to live harmoniously in both places and trying and knowing and being just as smart as these other guys, and they're cheap and those suits are not that great. Like when you look at Oliver Platt, like the two guys, like the Oliver Platt and
Someone I did not recognize.
I think it was Judd Nelson.
All right, maybe we should go through this movie in a faster way just in case there's anyone like 2/3 of the people on this podcast who had not seen this movie or did not rewatch it. That makes it sound like I did not watch this movie.
Well, I know that you watched it.
I certainly did not rewatch it. I watched this, and then I watched the Bob's Burgers Working Girl Die Hard musical episode. And I had context to understand 3 jokes that I wouldn't have understood otherwise.
Well, there you go.
It was a great use of my time.
That's a great use of your time. It's a great use of your time. But anyways, like you see like how hungry she is. Like she's trying so hard to become
That is the word that they
something
use
more.
over and over again.
Yeah.
When I think of hungry, I think of Tess.
Exactly. And then they set her up with fucking Kevin Spacey, who's trying to like, who thinks, like he can just take her up to a hotel room.
Yeah, where are we going for this
He's
meeting?
barely trying.
Yeah, he just thinks all he has to do is like just be gross and it will just fall into his gross lap. And she would rather get left off, like hop out of that limo in like the middle of rain on like the middle of a freeway.
Get splashed by another car, something that has never happened in another movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sage, you said you wanted to do a quick summary?
Yeah, I think I can.
Do you want to handle that?
Do it, Sage.
I could try. All right, so Melanie Griffith is Tess McGill, a very hungry business lady who is not well respected at work. We went through her relationship with her current bosses and where we are with Kevin Spacey, and she comes back and writes, my boss has a tiny dick and is a pimp. So, of course, she gets not fired, but moved to another department. And this is where the movie actually starts.
She totally gets fired. She gets 110% fucking fired for that.
Is she not in a different department in the same?
She is.
It's a different company.
Absolutely. She goes right back to the temp office and she gets a different job.
See, there are things that I miss in this movie just because, like, I don't understand how that world works. I really thought she was in a different departments in the same agency, but this certainly makes more sense. There are some things I don't understand that just come off as plot holes that may just be me not being a 1980s working girl.
It's like she's working for, like, there's an agent, like, there's a placement agency that she's going through.
Temp, got it.
To find these jobs.
Well, she ends up being a secretary for Sigourney Weaver's character, whose name I'm sure Maggie remembers.
Catherine Parker.
Catherine Parker, that's right. They did a whole song about it on Bob's Burgers. It seems to be a somewhat more fair relationship where Sigourney Weaver values Melanie Griffith's ideas.
Seems to be.
Yeah, it seems to be. That's called foreshadowing, Kevin. It's a storytelling technique. And They develop a more close relationship than she's had in the past, and then Sigourney Weaver goes off on a ski trip and damages her leg, requiring Tess McGill to step up a lot and basically just take care of her house. She doesn't really have the instructions to step up, just take care of the personal sides of her life, which, I don't know, again, not a 1980s working girl, but feels like that's not a secretary's responsibility. That would be a
and
personal
also
assistant.
cancel all of her appearances at parties and such.
And
Which
so
is
while
gets into like when you're working for an executive, like that's like full on executive assistant work.
Yeah.
Like if you
Mhm.
look at like
That's still standard, it feels like.
yeah, it's still pretty standard. If you've ever like having talked to a lot of VAs, like you're not just in charge of their like professional calendar, you're in charge of their whole calendar. Like it's
And their kids, which is
oh my
that's the
God.
that's the line that feels weird to me. I saw an assistant role recently. That's Anyway,
Oh Lord. Why I don't ever I'm so glad that that's not a job I've ever had to do.
she's got a boyfriend played by Alec Baldwin, who's speaking of snakes, she catches well, okay, so sorry, back up. Here's probably the most important part of the movie is she has an idea for a merger slash acquisition of a radio company. We'll get into the details of that later, but she pitches it
will we?
yes, yeah, very much so.
Okay.
She pitches it to Catherine Parker, and it is met somewhat ecstatically and pushed aside. And while she is taking care of the house, she discovers that bad lady Sigourney Weaver's just completely stealing her idea. She takes
Yep.
that information, goes home very sad, and Alec Baldwin is just completely fucking someone else in their bed.
Yep.
And if you want to talk about not being expected for the nudity in this movie, I think this is probably the biggest example, because I have seen this scene in many movies, and I have never just seen the woman on top of this situation just not even look at the door when they get got. She just sits there the whole time.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Yep.
Anyway, Alec Baldwin, not a great guy. Gavin, where
Nope.
are we at? I'm floundering. We
So
haven't even
you
gotten
are
to
to the
Harrison
part
Ford.
where we have the double betrayal.
So
Right.
she has been
The
twice
double
betrayed.
betrayal.
And
Twice
she
betrayed.
decides that her one step of like control that she can take in her life is to, instead of canceling those parties that her boss was invited to, she decides to add herself as a replacement. So she starts showing up to these parties. She reaches out independently to the person that her boss was going to set up the deal with, and puts herself forward and decides that she's going to cut through all the red tape and take this thing head on. And it all seems to be going pretty well. She meets a handsome Harrison Ford at a bar at a party, but keeps it strictly professional.
As much as
Until
the
her
Valium will let
friends,
her.
until her friend's Valium that she'd been given kicks in, and she winds up passing out. And he, as a gentleman does, carries her home over his shoulder and then puts her in his bed, and you know rides the fine line of decency, I guess.
For the
Um,
80s, I guess.
She
Yep.
wakes up, goes to her meeting. Surprise, it's with the handsome man that she met last night. But he's very professional about it, and she
He
manages
is.
to be more or less as well, aside from certain visual indicators that she is not quite a high performer in her work yet, including a briefcase not quite existing, other things. But despite that, he believes in her. He trusts her. She takes some very unorthodox um, and headstrong ways to, like, such as crashing a important businessman's daughter's wedding in order to get some FaceTime with him. Cuts through all this magically through all this red tape, puts together this fantastic deal, only to find out that her boss's hopeful fiance turns out to be the guy that she's been crushing on and hooking up with, and the deal may be on, but her boss now knows about it. Everything comes to a head at a giant table. Words are spoken. She's fired. Her Harrison Ford may not believe her until he catches her in a hallway, and she admits to everything in a breakdown and is like, I don't care if you don't believe me. I'm right. And he's like, I think that you've got something there. And thankfully, so does everyone else at the table. And Sigourney Weaver is proven to be a lying bad person, and everyone gives Melanie Griffith the chance to be the working girl that she always knew she could be.
A working woman, if you will. So
Movie?
what does that's the movie. What does the term work like if you were to use the phrase working girl, to me that would mean pretending to be your boss to get into hijinks.
Oh, okay.
Like that's how I have actually used this term before then. Well, that's a lie. I really thought I thought working girl was about a prostitute.
Interesting.
Yeah. May have been combining with Pretty Woman or just assuming that there was a whole string of movies around that time that were about like working girls.
Prostitutes with hearts of gold
Yeah.
as a genre.
So does the term working girl, is that after? I've just always thought of working girl as slang for prostitute.
It does have that connotation, and I also think that it's playing with that connotation a
Mhm.
little bit, and it's also playing with the class distinctions and also gender and sexism, right? Because you have like this is one of the things that I've always thought is so freaking brilliant about this movie, and also why I keep looking back at this, why I keep looking at it for as in storytelling, why I look at it as costume, why I look at it in all of these different ways, because yes, there is there's a sexual connotation because people keep looking at Melanie Griffith in a sexualized way because of class, right? Her boyfriend looks at her in a sexualized way. He never gives her anything that she can wear outside of the house. When
Yeah.
he buys her a birthday present, it's lingerie. He keeps sexualizing her. When her coworkers at the first job that we see her at, when they go to set her up with Bob Speck, Kevin Spacey's character, she says explicitly, "Do not set me up again. Do not let this be like," that this is there has been a previous opportunity where they have done this, where they've set her up, where she thought it was a job interview, and what it was them setting her up for a more horizontal application. That her only way
Woof.
forward
Yeah.
was basically a casting couch version of it.
I'm not
Because
even
people
implied that it's a way
continue
forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
continually because of where she is based on her class, because she is working class and not coming from Wharton or coming from Wellesley, that the only way for her to move forward is for her to be on her back. And she's really pushing against that in every single way possible. Even though she's got big hair, her makeup's kind of trashy, her jewelry's a bit too much. She still sounds she's going to diction classes, she's trying to do all of these things to elevate herself, and at the same time, there's all these struggles that she is experiencing in people's perceptions of her as a sexualized person, as hypersexualizing her because of class and status, that Sigourney Weaver's character does not experience because of class and status, and that's one of those really fascinating things, and you see it really play out in how you look at, like, those broad ensemble moments, like, when you look at the sort of, like, the background, like, people coming over on the Staten Island Ferry, and you see the secretarial pools, like, where Sin is working in the secretarial pool, or where she's working in the secretarial pools, where, like, Tessa's working in the secretarial pools with the big hair and all the crazy eye makeup. And then you see the professional class, like, where you see Catherine Parker and her friends, when you see the 2 wedding parties, Sin's wedding versus, Orrin Speck and, the,
Trask
sorry,
family.
Orrin Trask, the who she like, the big merger and acquisition, Orrin Trask's daughter's wedding that they crash. Just like the difference in hair and in makeup and the way that they're presenting themselves, and whose hair and makeup and dress is more boorish based on who they're trying to like, what their sort of like their status, like their sort of class signifiers are, versus, who's more elegant, who's more polished.
There's that one
And
line that really stuck out to me when she's meeting Harrison Ford for the first time,
I
and
got
he
a head for
says,
business and a bod for sin.
"Well, and it's just nice to see a woman dressed like a woman, not a woman dressed
Yeah.
like what a man would dress like if he was a woman."
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
"Wow."
And it
That's
all
a
ties
lot.
back into that moment where they're going through all the dresses, and it's this
Yeah.
class and again, everything is so pointed, and this is where Anne Roth again, and I really wanna just take a brief beat to, like, annotate Anne Roth, the costume designer,
Okay.
just
Mhm.
knew exactly how to hit every beat. I mean, she's a multiple, Academy Award winner. She's been nominated. She has, like, 27 different nominations across multiple award platforms. But Anne knew how to build this arc for Melanie Griffith in this movie, and when Sin and Tess are going through that closet and they're looking at all the dresses and she pulls out that dress, she's like, "Look, it's perfect. Look at it." It's just like it says, flirty, blah, blah, blah. She's talking about it, and then she hands it over to Sin, and Sin's like, "It's $6,000? It's not even leather." And
Yeah.
she's like,
Some good
I'm
accents in this
faint.
movie.
I'm
I
gonna
will
faint.
absolutely give it credit for that.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And then, Sin comes around. She's like, she's got to have some pills around here. She's like, Valley, I'm in a nice economy size here. I'll just take the edge off. Mm.
And just to clarify, Anne Roth is the lady that shows up in Barbie on the
Yes,
bench,
she
right?
is. Yes,
Okay.
she is. Anne Roth was born in 1931. Anne Roth is like 95 years old or 94 years old.
I love that for her.
Anne Roth has a movie coming out this year.
Like a
So
Anne
she's
Roth
still
biopic.
working. Yeah, she's still working. She just completed Ella McKay.
Okay.
Like, she is still a working costume designer.
She's still a working girl?
95. She is still a working girl. Anne Roth is still a working girl. She just got another Oscar for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom in
Yeah, okay.
2020. She did Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret in 23. She did White Noise in 22.
Sounds like we got a
Like,
little bit of time to get her on the podcast then.
I mean, she's still kicking. She's still kicking.
Who
So, I'm just
is,
saying.
if I may pick your costume designer brain, because this is not
Yeah.
Maggie Whitaker is the only costume designer whose name I can name. Which is more an indictment of me because I have obviously worked with a lot of costume designers,
I
much
mean,
less
you kind
the
of
big
have to work
famous
with
one.
us because we put you have to put your mics on our
Yeah,
clothes,
I don't
and we have
think
lots of opinions about where they go.
I don't think
And you have
non-film
lots of
people
opinions
really
about what our
understand
clothes are.
when I call you my work wife. It's because like our working relationship is so close. Just sound and wardrobe are
It's so
such tight knit
close.
departments that
Yeah.
people outside of film don't think about. And honestly, most of the people in other departments of film don't think about.
Like,
But
I'm
this
curious. Sorry, go
so
ahead.
I have to hide microphones on everyone all the time. That's just how film
absolutely.
works now.
Yeah.
As Steve Morrow said on the podcast, that's not how it worked 10, 20, even 10 years ago. But now it's just everyone all the time. And for the most part, it all has to work. And whether a
Yeah.
microphone, whether a lavalier hidden microphone on a performer works or not is ultimately up to wardrobe.
Yeah.
Because
And
if I could always get a microphone on a chest or better yet on a forehead, I know that sounds insane, but that's what we do with hair wigs. When you buy
yeah.
a lavalier microphone, the instruction on it even says like the best place for this is on the forehead pointed down,
Uh,
which sounds insane. And there's almost no time that I've gotten to do that. Sometimes
perfect
you get to
for
mic up
musical theater.
glasses.
Do you just put
Yeah.
the mic pack under the hairpiece and you're good?
If
The
the wig's
transmitter
big
would
enough,
still
I
have
have
to wire back down.
yeah.
But
I mean, we
like
have
when you're
done that,
doing musical
Maggie. We
theater,
have
Yeah.
set up wigs so that we could actually put one of my transmitters inside the actual wig. And if they
I
were making
believe it.
Working Girl today, the transmitter, it would just live in those wigs.
I mean, your transmitters are so small. It's just
Hell
like
yeah, they are.
because I've done so much musical theater, because Gavin, you don't know this, but my background is primarily theater. So like
Amazing.
we're constantly like we're putting
Yeah.
placement here or here and running them around
Maggie,
the
you don't
ears.
know
And if
this,
they've got a
but
wig.
I actually did musical theater back in high school, so.
Oh, see,
He was a working girl.
aw, babies. We are all connected. But like one of my big things is making sure that when we're placing mics, that I'm not the biggest asshole in the room
Yeah.
on where they're going. And also that we never see I do not want to be seeing that bulge of the transmitter, and that it's not like, like it's not hateful. So like Sage and I will always like I'll try to preload like if I've like sometimes it's impossible because the director just you can't always.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're still getting approvals up until like the moment before you start shooting a scene because you're like establishing a new look.
Mhm.
But sometimes you know, and then sometimes you're just like, I'm so sorry, baby. I hope you
I
have a
was
good
about to
boom op
ask.
because this is not a this outfit sucks for mics. There's no
Yeah.
And
placement
that's
in
how
this.
it is. And the other part of our job as sound mixers is like, I feel like we
Yeah.
have to just react to situations maybe more than any other department because we have to work around camera, we have to work around wardrobe, we have to work around the director's decision.
Yeah.
And ours is the easiest job to fix in post to a certain extent. Like you're going to
Yeah.
sacrifice performances, but you can at least get to a finished product a lot easier than with visual effects.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I
That's
was
don't
I
just
know,
was
but
how it
I
gonna
would
is, but
much
sometimes
rather.
sometimes you need sometimes an actor needs to not have a shirt, or sometimes they need to wear a leather cat suit, or
Yeah.
sometimes they need to wear like a big old Patagonia jacket or something where my microphones aren't going to do a thing.
Yeah.
is there like, just as an idea, Sage, do they just have like false butts that like have room for to slide in the mic pack? Is that where you hide those?
I mean, that's essentially what
S-
like our waist straps are, or bra straps
Yeah.
or something. So something will go around an actor's midriff, and then the transmitter will just slide in
Midriff, so you
there.
bring out the stomach a little bit. Okay. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are they do make like custom underwear with transmitter pockets as well, which is almost what you said. I have used
Yeah.
those on certain like sports performances.
It makes
Um,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah. And we've done when I first when we were doing American Idiot in 2009 at Berkeley Rep, one of the things we did was we customized everybody's bras so that we would have the transmitter would be on one side, and we would sort of cover, sort of soften it so that it wouldn't be like a rectangle, and then we'd
Sure.
pad out side
Match
so it'd
out
be
the other side.
symmetrical.
Makes complete
And
sense.
that
Yeah.
way it would always stay on the body, and that way as they were constantly doing all like 50 million quick changes, that it was just secured to the body and it
And
would
then
stay really stable.
in the
Yeah.
80s, you just hide the mic packs in the shoulder pads, right?
If only. Oh
If
man.
only.
They
If
just
only.
they used it so infrequently. That is one of my favorite things about watching any movie made before like 2000 is trying to figure out the behind the scenes soundscape of a movie, which is almost always, well, two booms. It's just two
Yeah.
booms.
I mean,
And
because
what
I
you
can't
get is what
even
you get, or
imagine.
you ADR it. I think this movie did a pretty good job with the sound design.
I mean,
Yeah.
from a production point, I mean, and obviously it paid off in terms of Oscar noms and Golden Globes and all that, but like this movie like looks and sounds pretty great for the time.
Extraordinary.
It's very well made.
It is certainly a well-directed movie. Each scene has like a little clever flourish, and what Maggie's
Mhm.
already
Yeah.
indicated about like what everything tells you about the character.
Well,
Yeah.
That is
and
something I'll
even
very much give it credit for.
the camera movement and the way that they're
Yeah.
blocking is like really beautiful. Like
Yeah, and
the
also
amount
all
of
that
times
nerdy camera shit.
the amount of
Yeah.
times that they're using the elevator so creatively, playing with reflections over and over
Yeah.
again. There's so many mirror shots in this movie.
There's
I
one
Oh.
did
shot that
see,
has like 6 mirror reflections, and I'm just like, this
yeah,
seems excessive, guys.
it's
This
I don't
seems
ridiculous.
even
like
pay
it would have
attention
been
to that
nice to
shit,
be
and I'm
able to
like,
use
ooh.
lavalier.
But also in production design, like when you go into Jack Trainor's, the difference between Catherine Parker's apartment and Jack
Hmm.
Trainor's apartment, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, he is not as he's powerful, he's got money, but he doesn't have her money.
I
Like
thought he
she
was
has
going to be doing a
generational
working
wealth.
girl.
She has hella generational wealth.
yeah.
He's worked for everything he's ever had.
Well, I
I
thought it was
thought
an
he was
interesting.
going to be pretending to be Jack Trader. I thought this was going to be a movie where it's not fair to be disappointed by my own ideas and expectations that I put on a
Yeah.
movie, but I thought there was going to be a comment on how maybe no one really knows what they're doing and everyone's just
Yeah.
pretending if you're not already
I,
born into it. And I like the idea that Harrison Ford's Jack Trader is also pretending to be his boss.
Oh.
sure.
I also love the fact that he's incredibly vulnerable in that moment
Yeah,
where he thinks she's trying to like do a
cut
fast
him
one on
out.
him, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he's like, he's got the vulnerability, he's got the little bit of food on his chin, and when he throws her over his shoulders to carry her up the stairs, did you notice that Anne Roth thought about everything head to toe? Even her stockings have a little bit of bejewelment because
Mm.
everything from head to toe is important. When she
I
goes
was
into her
mostly watching to make
office,
sure her head didn't hit that uh multiple doorways that she got so
Oh
close
God.
to
Well,
getting
there's
beat.
that too.
I was on head bump watch the entire time. It was like, in a horror movie
I'd
where
already
someone's
seen it
standing
enough
next
times
to
to
an
know
open
that she
window
doesn't
or
bonk her
negative
head, so
space.
I was just paying attention to the details. I was all
Yeah.
in details. But, like, even her sneakers, she goes into the office and because it's New York, so everybody you're going 60 like, she's on the Staten Island ferry, she's going into the office, she's in her sneakers all the way up to the office, and then she takes her shoes off, she takes those kicks off, and she puts on her office shoes once she's in the office, because there's no way you're doing 40 blocks in Midtown in fucking heels. It's those bits of reality, and those sneakers are kinda grody because 'cause they've been up and down. It's shit like that that makes it so good.
Where we cut out
I
silences.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh, and also, like, the difference in color palette between her and Sin, like, Sin knows who she is in a way that's, like, she has color, like, her eye makeup, like, all of it, like, Sin is very much absolutely at her heart, she knows exactly who she is, she knows what she wants out of life. She is exactly, like, aligned with herself, where Tess is pushing against this, like, Tess is pushing against this mold, and what Sin is like, the tension is, like, what is Tess leaving? Is Tess abandoning her roots by pushing forward, or is Tess and does that mean Tess would abandon Sin, or is it Tess working towards something better in bettering herself? Is she going to lose something along the way? How far is she willing to go? Is she going to lose herself? Is she going to lose Staten Island in the process of becoming
Oh, no.
Manhattan? And you can always feel that tension between
Staten
the two
Island
of
too
them,
is
but at the
just
same time, you still feel like that Tess is aware of her color palette doesn't change, but her polish changes. Like, she's always in grayscale this entire time. Like, and that's another key thing. Like, she always stays in this sort of like grayscale. It just becomes more polished. And there's a period where she's really stealing from Catherine's clothing, where it looks right on her, but it's a little bit of a disguise, and then as she gets more comfortable into herself, where it's like she grows into who she's supposed to be in this look.
this movie is it's extremely plot heavy in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that happen in kind of a short amount of time, but
Yeah.
they're all extremely human and relationship based. We already talked about like the first like pit where they're in the stock market area, but then when she gets placed in her new position where she's working under Sigourney Weaver, and the relationship of her finding out that she's working for a woman for the first time, she's working out for someone who's younger than her for the first time, and I want to know, how quickly did you guys feel uncomfortable about the way Sigourney Weaver was treating Tess? I know I'm mixing up character and actor names. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll
Like, when did it
let
dawn on
Sage go
you that
first.
Sigourney Weaver was not necessarily a good person that we should trust? Because it happened almost immediately for me, and I'm not sure why. Is it just that
Probably
Sigourney
when
Weaver is
that
kind of a bully?
39-year-old woman said that she was turning 30 next week.
I mean, did you clock that as a lie, or did you clock that as the movie lie? Because there's
No,
also like,
I felt that was the movie lying to me in a way that felt pretty disingenuous. Especially considering it's not it reminded me of like Carrie Mulligan in Promising Young Woman, who is a character who's turning 30 when the actress has just turned 40. I was like, if that's what you're building the movie around, if this age difference and working for a younger person is such an important part, maybe either rewrite that or cast someone who I could believe as that age. Which is not
I
to say that Sigourney Weaver isn't fucking gorgeous in this movie.
sure, yeah. I mean, I didn't clock that personally, but
It wasn't
Sigourney
a genuine
Weaver.
answer to your question, honestly. It's just the thing that's been needling at me that bothers me in most movies.
N- Knowing knowing where the double cross is, that the double cross is coming now, and trying to evaluate how the movie is the movie trying to set up trust, or is the movie trying to give me an opportunity to warn me with any of the body language or the tells early on, is a really interesting thing, because I always think about this in terms of I was trying to think about this in terms of like sometimes neurodivergence in plot twists, in detecting plot device, is a gift and a curse,
Hmm.
because I feel like, having observed this in myself as well as my offspring, like we can usually detect plot device really fast. Like if somebody's being deceitful, like, uh-oh, that person, that's not true. That's the person what done it. Like it's really hard for a movie to kind of like pull one over. It's really impressive when a movie does like, you know, catch you off guard. But I think for me, there is this the moment that it becomes clear that Sigourney Weaver, or for and like to keep it in character names, that Catherine Parker isn't gonna be entirely honorable, is the way there's something in her facial expression when Tess comes to her with the radio idea. When
Okay.
Tess trusts her with it, and Sigourney is cautious about it and asks her if she's told anybody else about it and the
Right.
way
I mean,
that she
that's a
goes about it.
clear red flag.
It's
Yeah.
just like
Who else did you tell about this? That means you're
exactly.
gonna get killed in the back of a limousine.
Yeah, that was probably the
Exactly.
moment. And it hurts
That's
because, like,
just like
after her experiences with Oliver Platt and her other bosses, like, you just really want
yeah.
this to be a better
Sure.
working
Yeah. And Tess
relationship, which it
does
still is a
too.
Yeah.
better working relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
To me,
still it's just like
there's
you know it at that moment. Like
there's
that's to me like the
something
moment.
there's something about her saying two-way street maybe more than once in like the
Yeah.
first meeting that like
Yeah.
already to me I'm just like, oh no.
Oh
I don't.
no.
And Sigourney Weaver is extremely good at playing a bully. I don't
Yeah.
think she's done it more in her like later career.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but she's really good at it. I mean, she's obviously an incredibly talented actress in general, but she's good at being
Well,
very
she was
tough.
nominated for 2 Oscars this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I clocked it really quick, but I was kind of waiting for when that shoe was gonna drop. And
Yeah.
then similarly, there's one of my favorite moments, which is also like working within the relationships, is when she comes into that meeting after meeting Harrison Ford the night before.
Yeah.
Um, and they're like, "Do you want some coffee?" And she gets up to
Yeah.
get the coffee. And I think
Yeah, because
that's like
she's so used to it.
it's the most, and yeah, and she doesn't expect more.
Yeah.
At this point, she's been so stuck in this rut for so much of her working career that
Yeah.
the idea of even expecting someone to offer her coffee is crazy to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that relationship.
And it
That was
also
fun.
is foreshadowing. It's foreshadowing for the finale
Yeah.
of the film as well.
That's the full circle at the end. Yeah, for sure. It's
It is. It
beautiful.
is.
When she sits in her secretary's seat, assuming it's hers,
Because she
despite her
sees her
promotion,
yep, because she doesn't
or new job.
really know what to expect. And
Yeah.
it's the same path that she just trod towards Catherine's desk. It's like all the way at the end, what's it's Miss Baxter will tell you where everything is, and then, you know,
Uh,
cool.
I also wanted to talk about one of my other favorite. We talked about Harrison Ford being vulnerable in this movie, and I wanted to hammer in that moment when you find out he is just as afraid of her as she is afraid of him when
Mm.
they're walking, getting ready to go to that wedding.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're not gonna, you're trying to cut me out? Or you're trying to take this all, or you're trying to do this, I need this." And he's very vulnerable. He's like the fact that like, "Look, I am one bad deal away from losing my position. And do you know how many hungry people are trying to take my job? How many younger, like more set up dudes are trying to take my job? I need this to work, and you need to let me make sure this works."
Would you describe
Yeah.
him as
And
hungry?
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's really fun. I think the desperation from everyone in this movie is kind of charming, including Sigourney Weaver. I think that
Yeah.
her delusion that she's going to get, um, and won't allow for anything, the idea of doubt that she's going to get engaged, this position's going to work out, um, is kind of fun and beautiful and like tragic too. Um, Despite her being a villain, she is very human in her like desires and she's clearly someone whose things have worked out for in the past, but, like, that shell is thinner than I would have thought when we first meet her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, like, incredibly, like, I really love the way that Harrison Ford sculpts his character because he looks very confident, and he originally comes off as, like, this he's set up to be this powerhouse, and then he's incredibly vulnerable, and he's incredibly tender. And we know he's significantly older because you can't pretend that Ford is not significantly older. Because, like, you even see in, like, a database file, he's like, they say he's born in 1948. So you're like, okay, yeah, no, he's a decent, decently, more man-shaped. And they even set him up as sort of like a objective they even objectify him too, because he does the thing of, like, being up all night and changing his shirt and doing sort of a whore's bath in front of the camera, in
Yeah.
front of the secretaries. They're like,
Well, they
"Woo!"
also let all the women at the wedding swoon over him in a way that did not feel very honest.
That was a
They
strange
were just
moment,
doing it
yeah.
right in front of him, and just like everyone's like, "Oh my god, can you believe how handsome that man is?" It's just like, everyone,
Look at this
stop what you're doing
beautiful
and
man
gawk at
pounding
Harrison
2
Ford.
drinks in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the bit where he comes out of the bathroom and he's like, "Just love it, it's so great," and does this sort of, like, a little bit of a Queenie Swan,
Yeah.
as to try and, like, "I gotta get out of this toilet stall in front of the bride somehow."
Okay, so I got some general 80s movies questions that I wanna run by you, Maggie.
'Kay.
So I'm watching this movie for the first time, but a lot of it feels like I have watched it before, because there are so many scenes and sequences in this movie that I have seen in other things, to the point that they honestly felt a little cliche in this. So what I want to understand is, if I am in 1988 seeing this, are these
Uh-huh.
things cliche or are they new? Are
Okay.
walking in on your boyfriend fucking someone, are the sort of even just the trappings of the, "Oh, it turns out I do have a fiance and I need to tell you," um, some of those hijinks of the time. I should have brought my list. I was writing down things that are just like, "Oh, I've seen this from this thing. I've seen this from other rom-coms in the '90s and early 2000s."
Well, the '90s and
What is
2000s did come
I mean,
after
I
the
feel like
'80s.
those
Yeah,
are
yeah, Gavin.
I feel like those are the sort of, like, the foundational betrayals of
Yeah.
relationships. Like those are just they're so human. They're so, like, the messy human betrayals of relationships. Like, she is pulling away from her boyfriend and from her community, and he's not getting enough of her attention, and so he starts looking for he starts looking for somebody to fill in the emotional void, to validate him, that is going to who validates him and his place and what he's doing in his life, because she's not doing it, because she's looking over there instead of looking at him. Right? So, no matter how it's not even that it's a trope, it's just that it's so fucking universal because
Yeah.
men, not that you guys are, but
I'm
generally,
a man.
men are really goddamn insecure when their women start moving into trying to, like, change up their lives a little bit. You go off to grad school, you start to get a new job, you start to try and move up in life, you start to move away from wherever you've been. Guys get kind of butthurt if you're not home every single night the way you've been because you're really fucking busy, and they're like, "Ugh," and that's when guys start cheating. It's not just a trope, it's just reality, in most relationships, and the same thing would be the same if you can flip the script and the same
Yeah.
like, if your guy starts
I've seen
disappearing or
this
your
flipped
other
around as well. It's yeah.
also, like, if your significant other, like, I'll stop gendering it, but, like, if we were saying it in an '80s context. So, put that in the frame of an '80s context, but in a universal context, if your partner starts to move in a different direction from you and you are home alone a lot more at night because they're constantly working and you're lonely and you're butthurt about it, one of the ways that people tend to lash out is by fucking somebody else. So it doesn't bug me because it's so universal.
And I think that's part of it too, Sage, is you gotta remember that we are of a certain age and have seen a certain amount of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
At
try
the end
not
of the
to hold
day,
that against movies in this podcast, but like I truly don't know the answer to how much of this is groundbreaking and how much of it is cliche. Because I certainly felt watching this movie that I knew everything that was going to happen before it happens. Like there
Yeah.
was a story path, and it's just like, well, now this scene happens, now this scene happens, and I think there's only once or twice that it surprised me at all. But like obviously after the betrayal of the boss is like, well, she's gonna come home and Alec Baldwin is gonna be cheating on her. Like I
Right.
because
Like
knew a
you have to
hundred
gotta
have
percent
these
that was the
ruptures.
next scene.
you gotta hit a low with an even lower, and, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
was a great way of doing it. The performance is
Yeah.
very fun. Alec Baldwin doesn't have a lot of screen time in this, but, like, even with what you were saying, Maggie, it's impressive the amount of, uh, sympathy he garners for someone who's kind of a shitbag,
I think
but
he
Yeah.
at the end of the
garners
day
it from the movie. It certainly does not from me.
well,
I was
but,
getting
like,
so
even
annoyed at even the idea of forgiving
Yeah.
him, which everyone in the
her
movie is just like, oh, you should think
yeah,
about it.
her
Like,
friends, like, "You should give him a
no.
chance," and at the end of the day, when, like, you're talking to him,
The
like, you
same friend
do
who's like, don't set your goals too high and think it's gonna take you away. That pissed me off.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
because again, like this is
And
coming
I don't
from that
know.
place of fear. Like
Yeah.
fear is a huge motivator. Like, are you rejecting me? Are you rejecting our lives? Are you rejecting everything you've known your entire life for this weird ass pipe dream that you're committing felonies to get right now?
I'm not
And
The
really
that
pain
questioning the
fear,
motivation of the characters. I understand why the
yeah,
people are doing this, but I do still feel like the movie is trying to endear me to these characters in ways that it's not doing. Like I
right.
still feel like I am supposed to like all of these characters except for Sigourney Weaver.
the pain of the, him having to propose after that too is
Oh,
just
Oof.
such a oh,
oh,
Good
so
scene that made
gross
me very
feeling.
uncomfortable.
oh,
Yeah, and
yeah,
then afterwards when, like, she says maybe in, like, the kindest, nicest, like, I don't know how
yeah,
you feel like that room knows what happened too. No one in that
yeah,
room doesn't know that he just cheated on her.
yeah,
And they're still all just like, "Hey, so proud of you guys for putting this behind." And he's like, "You embarrassed me." And she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
yeah,
But there's still that kindness and the gentleness that, like, she brings to, like, so many of these deeply awkward performance it's yeah. I, uh,
yeah,
I love it. I love that kind of just discomfort is wonderful.
yeah,
Gavin lives for messy drama. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
there
I mean,
is
it's the
one.
same you go back to, Douglas Sirk and all the melodramas before this, like, yeah, it's great. You want those betrayals and you want that, like, telegraphed there's something to a telegraphed drama, where it's the same thing with you show the bomb under the table. You wanna know what's coming in a certain respect. Surprises are boring. They're not exciting the same way that, like, when you know something's coming and you get to watch the train wreck happen in slow motion, I think is kind of what you want. And that includes betrayals. You wanna, like, feel that and you want that your main character to just sort of miss it or not be able to believe it's coming in a way that makes it all the much more sadder and painful.
there is
So
this. I just, if it was a weirder or more fantastical betrayal, that would be weird. But like the
Mhm.
fact that it's all like grounded in a real human experience is why I feel really comfortable with it. Like these are
okay.
very human actions.
Yeah.
They're identifiable, they're human, they're realistic. These are the things that people do to each other based on like the kind of impulses of self-preservation, of fear, of protection. Sometimes it's about care. When she is, even when she's acting in ways that are problematic or harmful, when she's saying things like,
Mhm.
like her,
He's really being torn
iconic
apart.
line of, sometimes I dance around in the house in my underwear when I'm, but that doesn't make me Madonna.
Yeah.
That thing of like, just because I do this thing and I sort of play pretend, it doesn't mean that I misunderstand who I truly am. Like, I still know who I am at the end of the day. What you're doing right now is losing sight of who you are. Don't lose sight of who you are. Is that sense of like that care of like, I don't want you to lose sight of who you are. If you play pretend so hard that you lose who you are, who are you gonna like what does that say about you? Like, are you going to lose Are you going to lose the heart of you? Are you going to become another one of these people, another one of these faceless fucking bosses that keeps walking all over us? Because when you jump class, what does that like? What else are you going to lose when you jump class?
There is one idea I want to touch on before we move on to our judgments, and that is that this movie got nominated for a lot of Oscars,
Yeah.
but none of the ones that I would have expected. We haven't really talked about the acting in this
Oh,
movie ton.
sleep.
So this got nominated for 4 acting roles, none of which were Harrison Ford. Sorry, 3 acting roles. It also did not get a costume designer
No.
nomination. The only thing it won was original song, which I've been on record saying should not be an actual Oscar. But
And you're
watching
wrong, but that's
this,
okay.
even with the quality that we have been talking about, I was really surprised. If this came out today, I would never think of it as an Oscar movie, which is not denigration. That's not qualification of anything. I was very surprised to see that this got nominated for so many awards. And the only one I really have a problem with, I mean, Joan Cusack's in such a small part of the movie. She's got a great accent, but it's a little surprising to see her get nominated for Best Actress in a Supporting Role, which is the same thing that Sigourney Weaver got nominated in, as well as another movie that year, Gorillas in the Mist. Maggie, my question to you is, how genuinely, how do you like Melanie Griffith in this movie? Do you think that is an Oscar-worthy performance?
I mean, I love Melanie Griffith in this movie. I'm now just trying to look at who she was against and trying to see what else was in the works
Well,
this
she
year.
was against Sigourney Weaver
for Gorillas in the Mist.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep
And Jodie
for
Foster
Cry in the
won
Dark
for The Accused.
for The Accused,
which is an incredible performance.
Obviously, it went to Jodie.
That's actually one of the few movies I saw. I was shocked going through this list and trying to figure out, because that's always my first question too, what is this up against?
I mean,
And I've seen almost nothing from 1988, it turns out.
yeah.
Because Die Hard only got a sound editing.
Damn. Yeah, and the Best Actress, like, as much as I love Joan Cusack, going against The Accidental Tourist and Mississippi Burning with Frances McDormand. And again, this was Dangerous Liaisons year. Fuck's sake. Like, no way.
Yeah, it's a lot of movies I recognize and have not seen. Some of which I'm okay with, and some of which are like, oh, I probably should have seen Rain Man and A Fish Called Wanda by now.
You haven't seen A Fish Called Wanda?
I knew that was going to be a movie you loved somehow.
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna be quiet.
Which Gavin's going to be quiet?
Going through the she's thought. We talked about
You said
this.
I
He also
haven't
hasn't
seen
seen most
any
of
of these movies.
Haven't
All
seen
right, I'm just
Accidental
looking
Tourist,
at
haven't seen
what else
Dangerous
was in the Best
Liaisons.
Director. This is okay. Actually,
I've
honestly,
seen Intolerable Cruelty.
I am kind of surprised that Working Girl got this high of a markings in consider. Also, that like A Fish Called Wanda was in the Best Directing category too, because A Fish Called Wanda I would never have put.
Cannot comment on it.
I would not have qualified that into the like a best. I mean, it's funny as fuck, but it doesn't. Sorry.
The message goes, this is just my favorite part of anyone where we just shit on other movies.
No,
from
these
that
are
year.
fucking great
Really.
movies. It's just like, what was the best picture? Where's the best picture? I can like
Rain Man.
Well,
This is Rain
Rain
Man.
Man.
Rain Man was best
I think
picture.
it's also
I think so.
Oh my
Certainly
God, it
was
was
Best Actor. Yeah, and Best Director and
hateful.
Well,
Rain
we're
Man does
talking
not
about-
deserve that. I'm sorry. Out of
Wow.
this collection,
You're right. It should have been for Harrison Ford and Working
no,
Girl.
it should have been Dangerous
And not nominated
Liaisons.
for-
Dangerous Liaisons should have got it. Maybe Accidental Tourist,
Also
but
not-
Dangerous Liaisons for sure. Maybe Mississippi Burning.
Again, I was thinking of Best Actor. We're gonna have to clean all this up.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking
Well,
about the best
what-
picture right now. I'm just like, I don't even understand how Rain Man got it. I mean,
Well-
It is always fun to look back at like what the semi-official list of the cultural zeitgeist is compared to how we view the world now, which is that
Well-
these are not the movies. Again, no Die Hard on here.
I mean, look,
one thing.
I do want to watch a lot of these.
One thing to look at though is like, so it didn't win the Academy Award for any of these,
except for a song.
Sure.
I didn't even
But-
remember there being a song in this.
It did win a Golden Globe for Best Comedy or Musical.
Okay.
And that means it beat out Big, it beat out A Fish Called Wanda, and it beat out Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Damn.
So
That's insane.
that is impressive.
comedy or musical. I don't know. That's not where I get. I mean, Roger Rabbit is.
God, this was a good
We're
year
not going to
for
get into my
movies,
An
problem with the
incredible
Golden
movie.
Globes.
because
Yeah.
Willow was in this year too, because it's on Best Effects for visual effects.
This movie
The
was
point I was
almost
making
didn't
at,
quite
which maybe you're not going to like this, Maggie. I don't think Melanie Griffith is good in this movie.
That's fine. I
I
don't need you to think she
I
was good in this movie.
get-
but
I
it's a thing that keeps me from really connecting with it because she's very flat and kind of sucking the charisma out of a lot of her scene partners, I felt.
I so I would push back, and I think part of that is that this movie, it won for comedy, but it is a drama, and she's starting at like a rung below bottom in terms of her energy and satisfaction in life, and is just kicked further down for the first half of this movie. So when you're
I don't
talking about her being a vacuum of charisma, she's just dealing.
Yeah.
And I think that she's giving an extremely human performance that is actually pretty nuanced and great.
I don't think
And
that shifts through the second half. Like
I think it
There's a
does.
going
lot
into
of
this knowing that she got nominated for an Oscar, I keep waiting for like, what is the scene that the Academy would be like, "Oh, that is what we nominate you for. What are these showy moments?" And it's okay if a
Well, I
performance
think that's
doesn't
what's
have
more.
showy moments, but like I don't think it changes like through the whole movie, and I don't enjoy watching her. I don't mean to be so sour on that. It just everyone else's performance in this movie is so much fun, and hers is not.
I think some of it is I think it's whether or not do you actually like listening to Melanie Griffith's voice in other films?
Not in this. And honestly, I haven't seen enough of her in other things. This is just a name that I know, and I'm not sure. I don't have like a connection to her from what are the other big Melanie Griffith movies, Maggie?
I mean, she's been in. I mean, she.
Sorry, I thought you'd have that on your head.
God. Well, ask me for things when my brain is.
Yeah, Body Double I haven't seen. Bonfire of the Vanities I haven't seen. I mean, and this runs into, 80s are a big blind spot for me, especially like certain genres from the 80s. We're trying to do more on this. Honestly, I know her from, she showed up on Raising Hope. I think that's one of the few things I've seen her on. And Mulholland Falls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuart Little too,
Cecil B.
But,
Demented.
well, Stuart Little too.
where she plays a bird.
Sorry, it's not an actress I know, and this movie didn't really endear me to
Born
her. And on that
Yesterday.
note, I think it is time in the podcast to get to our summary
Yeah.
judgments.
All right. Summary judgments. Bonfire of the Vanities was very good. Yeah. I just think she's a very divisive. Like
Bonfire of the
vocally, she can be a
Vanities.
very
Is it
divisive
still good?
actor because her actual voice is challenging. Like it's
Hmm.
certain people like Jennifer Jason Leigh, Melanie Griffith,
That was who I was thinking about a
Meg
lot. in
Tilly.
this, yeah.
Like their voices are so distinctive.
Oh, I mean, I think Megan Tully's a different level of that. Who I still like a lot, but
Right.
Fran
But it's
Drescher.
just like the voice, like where the vocal type, like their voice is so specific. Like you either like that it really defines how you respond to them.
I was wondering if this movie was going to reveal that she'd like been on Valium for most of the movie. That's how low energy the performance. Anyway, Gavin, would you like to explain to Maggie our patented 3-tier system that
Sure.
is sweeping the nation and all the other podcasts are stealing? For Is This
Well,
Still Good? Trademark.
we have this 3-tier system. Is it still good? Is it better as a memory? Or let's say we lock it in a limousine with
With Kevin
um
Spacey?
with Kevin Spacey.
Oh my God. Well, that's our
Uh,
darkest one yet.
Well, that's what we use I don't know what you're talking about. That's every episode.
I'm going to
That's
start
what-
using that on
Oh.
every episode. So, yeah. Do we lock in a limousine with coked up Kevin Spacey?
Oh no.
Yeah. So that those are the
We only wish that on the worst movies.
Yeah. So as you can tell, that's not the good option.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sage, you seem already very opinionated. Do you want to go first?
I usually am. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything to add to what I've said over this. I didn't enjoy watching this movie. but I do respect the filmmaking involved. And Maggie, you've done a wonderful job of like bringing me up to almost loving this movie, not just through the passion, but with like a lot of really good points that I missed a lot of the nuance and I didn't give it credit for. I think scene by scene, the movie's good. I mean, I think like inside each scene it works, but the fact that I could just always tell what the next scene was going to be, and oftentimes it was something that I've seen dozens of times, whether that's the fault of the movie or not, it kept me from truly enjoying or appreciating the movie. I'm glad I watched it, which doesn't sound like a compliment, but I do intend it to be that way. There are movies people will bring to this podcast that I'm like, oh, I wish my life is not better for having watched this. Working Girl, I do have a deeper appreciation of film history, directions, et cetera, and the costumes very good. But I have to give it better as a memory.
Gavin, would you
All
like to go
right,
next?
better as a
All right.
memory. I'll hop in next, and we'll leave Maggie with, because you've seen it before, so
Yeah.
you, I think,
Yeah.
have the most possible
And we're all very curious what ranking you're going to give this, Maggie.
I actually, one thing we didn't talk about is some of this fashion is challenging for me. I'll just say that the shoulder frills are not like, I think about the amount of times that we've seen what is now a trope is people putting on dresses from the 80s and ripping off these shoulder frills to reveal like a more modern version of the same dress. I just pictured her doing that in half of her outfits, I'll be honest.
I think that's
But
fair.
I enjoyed this movie. I'm gonna give it a still good. It
Cool.
was not exactly my kind of movie, but I thought I mean, actually, that's not true. I like melodramas, and this was a very solid melodrama. And I think that like scene to scene, like you're saying, specifically the amount of turns within scenes was really incredible, and watching the cast that like do very um not always nuanced, but like always interesting things. Like Harrison Ford, I think is actually giving one of a more charming but a less nuanced performance than almost everyone else in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's still great. Um and yeah, I just had it was just kind of a good time. I think that Melanie Griffith's performance was um much more of a transition for the whole movie than like within scenes, but like I just really liked it, and it was an interesting look at a world that I hadn't spent much time in. It's also just a shout out, really strange that we're rooting for people doing mergers and acquisitions with our current day and age, and just being like the
Which I've
amount
only
of
ever
like
done
our
in American
economy
Psycho.
falling apart, and just yeah. That was the weirdest thing for me. It's like, oh, I have to root for people to buy up media companies and probably slice workforces, and
Yeah.
uh,
You're rooting for climbing corporate ladders. You're rooting for all sorts of things that I don't want to root for.
yeah,
Rooting for
the 80s were a
capitalism.
different time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard to root for capitalism.
but yeah, I think it was good. I think this is still a good movie. Maggie, how did you feel?
I'm gonna say it was still good. Obviously, I chose the movie, so I had a stake in this, and I had seen it more recently because I've used this movie as a teachable when I was doing costume history, and I wanted something that was like a good film for 80s because it did have so much variety in terms of sort of like class and status in 80s fashions. And it delivers those big shoulder pads. And it's like unrepentant.
That
And
sounds
it's,
like a very fun class.
yeah. And it's also like, it's relentless and it's real. It's not like a stereotype. It's not like somebody trying to like make fun of the 80s of like, oh, hoo, how stupid is this? It's like, it's in the moment.
No matter how much it might feel like that watching that for the first time in
It's
2025.
right in front of you. It is in the moment. It is of the period, it is of the era. It is point in time. But it is also showing you how different people at different points, like, you have different stratas of society, and you have different levels of all of that. So, like, not everybody's hair looks like somebody got electrocuted and their eyes are like a tropical fish. Not like, there's still shoulder pads, but not everybody's shoulder pads are insane. Not everything is at the same, like, there are levels. There are levels.
I will say, I think the hair was actually harder than the outfits for me.
Yeah, the
The
Staten
hair
Island
was the
secretary hair is a thing.
yeah. I love those
Staten Island
accents
secretary here.
so much
Yes,
though.
I enjoyed listening to this movie. I enjoyed looking at all the wardrobes and imagining that reality. Because that's the other thing is like in our lives, Gavin mostly, um,
Mostly my life, yes.
fashion hasn't changed that significantly in the last 20, 25 years. Like, I could acknowledge a shift when I was a child compared to how they changed in the 70s to the 80s to the 90s. It was like, I still
I
dress the same way I did in 2008, and so do most of the people I know.
I think
There have
that
not been
art
as significant shifts.
what you just said was that our fashion hasn't changed, which I think
Yes,
is true and valid.
that's exactly
Um,
what I said.
but like
No, I
the
think
New
that's
York
true on a cultural levels as well. Like it just hasn't changed as significantly as it did in the past.
you clearly
Like you
haven't
could
been
have these
shamed for your
huge
ankle
decade
socks
shifts.
and
Well, I mean, so much of the concept of like what defines a decade is fashion, and that has been lost in more recent decades. Like there is not a distinct decade shift from in the
Maggie,
last.
do you care to weigh in on this?
There is definitely a pretty
I'm not saying there's nothing. I'm comparing it to these shifts in the past.
there's some pretty
I think
distinct
the
decade
80s is
shifts.
standout, but
The 70s
Here's
are
a crazy
standout too.
one
The
for you.
60s are standout.
If Dirty
the
Dancing
70s
was
and
made
60s are
today,
nice.
you
Okay.
know what 1963 would be to what today's 1963 would be?
Oh, don't do this to
Yeah,
me.
you ready? You ready? Be
No,
2001.
I'm not ready. I've never been. Yeah, see, like
2001.
Dazed and Confused is the example that people always used to be. It's like we're further from Dazed and Confused than Dazed and Confused was to its time
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
I think that you're just not looking close
Yeah.
enough at like what a different age and
I
professional
feel like I'm just
level is
Yeah.
fashion-wise.
not explaining it to you enough.
I mean, the thing is, what I will
Okay.
say is that our flexibility in terms of our capacity to self-select for fashion, of being able to choose vintage or other things so that we can make different choices. But if you looked at how we dressed 10 or 20 years ago, like Y2K fashion, my favorite thing right now is seeing
Sorry.
seeing TikToks being rehashed of people getting a hold of real Y2K jeans and realizing that there are body parts that are crawling up and over the tops of those ultra low rise jeans, and they're like, "How the fuck did these things go on bodies?" And we're like, "Yeah,
As best they could.
yeah, that's the why there was a
I'm not
whole
saying there's no differences.
sub genre of muffin top coverage and shaving things down from the top down, babes, from the top down."
I was saying when I
On
when I
that
rewatch
note.
Superbad now, it's not as big of a difference as if I were to watch this movie in 2008 to just be like, "Whoa, look how different everyone is."
There is definitely more flexibility because I think it's also because we have like micro trends now because everything goes in these
Mhm.
extreme micro trends, so we're constantly recycling so much faster.
Fast fashion wasn't around in 1988.
There was. It's just that the sort of the viciousness of how quickly we go in these capsule seasons and we're constantly being bombarded really accelerates it. But also like a pre-COVID and a post-COVID world, like of how people dressed pre and post is also pretty different in terms of like fabrication and materials of like, I mean, it's the difference between real pants and nobody wanting to wear real pants, and then sort of like blips of people like, oh, let's wear real pants again. Everybody's like, can we make those real pants out of stuff that doesn't feel like real pants? Because real pants really suck. So,
Real pants
yeah,
really suck.
yeah.
Well, Maggie, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anything to plug? Any theater work that you're doing right now, or are you off for the
I'm
holidays?
mostly out for the holidays. I just opened a play up in Sonoma that is basically sold out that I designed and produced, Big P produced. And that just about killed me. So this might actually be my sick, angry ghost animating my bones talking to you. We'll find
Oh
out.
no.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, that was an episode, and as always, kids, stay away from Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey.
Good call.
We love you, Maggie.
So, thank you, work husband. Bye.
Bye. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us again on Is This Still Good? You can find us at StillGoodPod on Instagram or send us a formal complaint to stillgoodpod@gmail.com. We love hearing from you.
Please give us a like or review wherever fine pods are casted. It helps us trick those algorithms.
You can find me across platforms at Hold for Playing.
And I'm at Gavin V. Murray. Join us next time, whenever that may be. Bye.